Mary Lambert,
Hi.
how are you doing?
I'm so good. How are you?
Good. It's good to hear you. Good to see you.
Good to see you
I've
too.
obviously been following all the progress, your music. I now know you have a lovely book of poems. I got it
Yes,
right
yes,
here.
book. Awesome.
Yes, Shame is an Ocean I Swim Across. I read it. Many I read a lot of the poems a couple different times actually.
Really?
Yes, you're very vulnerable.
Yeah.
That is amazing. You know what? That is very inspiring.
Yeah, thank
Ab- yeah,
you.
and I'm very glad that you put out something like this because I don't think a lot of people or necessarily all people would have courage to be so vulnerable and put themselves out the way you have in this book.
Thank you. John, that means a lot.
So I find it very empowering. But how have you been first?
I'm really good. I'm really happy. I'm so excited about this release, and it just feels so like congruent to my soul, and so I'm excited about the project. And my life is so good, and it's like almost Halloween, and I'm just really excited about that. And I don't know, things are just really, really good.
That is awesome to hear. That
Yeah.
is that is so great to hear. Now tell me a little bit about the book and writing it. How is some of this taken from years ago and you've like compiled it, or is this all written recently?
Yeah, I mean, some of the poems are like 10 years old.
Okay,
And so, because there is one poem I was reading at like a release show a couple nights ago, where one of the poems I say, I'm 23 and blah, 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 blah. And when I read it out loud, I was like, I'm not 23. you know, but yeah, some of them are really old. Some of them are from my very first collection, which I pretty much just sell on my website and at shows.
gotcha.
And so I went through a really cool process of editing them, and I cut a lot of them, and I saved the ones I really liked and felt were special. And then over the last like 3 years or so, I've been taking different poetry writing workshops and like one-on-one classes with poets to just like refine my craft. I didn't want to get a book deal just because I am like Mary Lambert. I
An
wanted to get
amazing
Yeah,
songstress.
right, right. I wanted to get a book deal because my writing was good, and I just wanted to have the chops to back it up. So I really focused on the craft for like about 2 or 3 years.
Well, I imagine it's very important to focus on the craft, but something tells me that a lot of this probably just comes natural to you and just being you.
Yeah.
Being a singer songwriter, being a writer, because that's what you are, just
Yeah.
naturally, instinctively. But I'm sure there was. I mean, I imagine the workshops help, but really, this is an amazing body of work that you've put together. It sounds like you've been working on it for many years, or just naturally writing, being a poet yourself.
Yeah.
What
That's
what so what inspired the title can you tell the readers? I know because a lot of people probably haven't picked this up yet. They couldn't, right?
Yes, it's out on the twin. Oops, it's on the out on October 23rd.
Right.
That's what it's
So it's
out.
not out yet.
Not
But
out
it
yet.
will be out probably when our viewers watch this. But can you tell us a little bit about the book of poems and what inspired "Shame Is an Ocean I Swim Across"?
I wanted to write a really vulnerable collection of poetry that kind of spoke to my experience as, someone that's like queer and bipolar, and like I've experienced like a lot of sexual violence and trauma, and growing up in an abusive home. And it wasn't just about hitting these sort of trauma points to like be exploitive about them. It was really about uh, opening myself up in a way that encourages, hopefully, the reader and the listener to um, invite their own feelings of acceptance and compassion for themselves. I found that there have just been so many times in my life that I carried such deep shame about things I couldn't control,
Right.
about different circumstances, and it was making me like physically ill. Like I would get just like the worst anxiety in the pit of my stomach, and I just carried that around for so much of my life about things I just couldn't control. And I think once I extended a sort of kindness and compassion to myself, and like a sort of forgiveness about things that weren't
Right.
necessarily my fault, and understood that I could take control of how I approached these certain traumatic things in my life, I just lived a much more peaceful, uninhibited life. And so I guess my desire is not only just for connection, but it's also to extend healing for other people that may have experienced similar things.
This is amazing, and this is so glad. I'm so glad to hear this because, like, when we first started singing, we were like, "I'm happy." And I'm like, "Okay, great," and it all makes sense. So this was probably very therapeutic for you in many ways.
Uh-huh.
But and it seems like this awesome, amazing, heartfelt book of poetry was also a way for you to um, express yourself and connect with other people,
Yeah,
and help
absolutely.
other people that might be going through similar struggles.
Right. And yeah, and I mean the a lot of the poems are pretty dark. I mean, it is me contending with uh thinking whether, wondering whether my life has value or not, and then me also moving through the music industry and facing challenges there. And so I know that some of the topics may seem sort of myopic or like esoteric in terms of they're not applicable to everybody, but I think that sort of the personal becomes universal. Like everybody has challenges that they're contending with. And the idea that like shame is an ocean I swim across is this sort of like, um, it's a belief that there's a whole journey that you have to go through to find healing. And sometimes like it feels heavy and insurmountable. But that's not why you give up.
Absolutely, and this was a way for you to kind of let go of the stuff that you've been through, like the stuff that you talk about, the stuff that you even said was out of your control in some cases, in some instances.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people can relate to that. Not everybody, obviously, being who you are and what you've done here and compiled here is amazing because I just know personally that a lot of people out there will be able to read and connect. And I know me personally, reading this, it really opened my eyes to a perspective in ways of thinking that I had never even considered or thought of. So it brought a level of awareness to me that was very, it brought a lot of empathy, and I could also feel kind of what you were writing. And obviously, it's just a different lens. But I got something to tell you.
Okay.
And it makes me excited because, like, do you know how awesome you are, Mary? This is what I want to tell you. Like, no, and I'm so serious. Like you have been such an amazing inspiration, not only through this book of work that I've just read of yours, but just to me. And I mean, because this is like the fifth or sixth time I've actually talked. We've
Right.
interacted. But like, you were actually here in the GroundSounds studio a year ago, or not, or give or take. And
Yeah.
and since then, like, I've been on this journey myself, or on a journey, and like, it's filling up. People are coming, people are helping out, and it's growing. And one thing I say is, look, and one thing you give me so much belief and like I said, inspiration, because I was like, the one thing I tell people is, look, Grammy nominated Mary Lambert came in here. She sat down. This was just a blank. There was nothing on the wall. There's nothing here, and she gave me the time and talked to me. Like, and I'm telling, like, the people that now help me out, that are working on this Ground Sounds project and everything with me. I'm like, look, we can do this. Like there are
Yeah.
people but you are like that inspiration. I'm like, look, it's here. Like people, like, so I just want to thank you so much for that. Um,
Oh, just thank you.
I really say that to my team. Ask Jaden back here. Have I said how many times I've mentioned Mary Lambert to you, Jaden? All the time. I'm not making this up. I'm like, look, we can do this, guys. Like, if Mary will come here and talk to us, then like surely somebody else will. But you've given us that you've given me that time, and you've given me that inspiration to move forward, and that motivation to think this is tangible, this is possible. So
Absolutely.
and I know that also through your work, you're also inspiring and motivating and encouraging other people out there that are going through difficult situation experiences, that this is okay, or like you can get through this, or this is not like
Yeah.
you're not, like, there's other people out there that are going through these experiences.
Totally. I mean, and I think why maybe you and I vibe too is like just a belief that like kindness and like general goodwill and like a good-hearted person could and should succeed. Like not just on the basis of skill or talent, but also like for just being a good fucking
Who
person.
they
Like,
are. Yes.
yeah, yeah, and like I think we should just like reward people for being good and like show up for them. You know, I just believe in showing up for each other, and I just felt like as soon as I met you that one time, I was just like, whatever John does, I'm like on board. Like, go, John, just take over the world.
Mary, that you're now, and I don't get speechless too often, but I'm trying to come back to reality and stay in the moment. That means a lot to me, and I know this book, Shame is an Ocean I Swim Across, will mean a lot to so many people out there, people that are going through similar struggles with identity or struggles with situations that were out of their control. Um, and on behalf of all of them that read it, I want to thank you because I know what this book is doing and how it can really help a lot of people out there. And also for people that might not be going through those experiences, be able to give them a lens
Mm,
to try to understand.
right.
And I thank you for that, Mary.
Oh, wow. Thanks, John. That's a really like awesome perspective. I hadn't thought about it that way. I
you,
really appreciate that.
you're helping people, Mary. And what? So what's next? The book's coming out. What else do we have on? How's the music coming?
Music is so good. The next album I'm working on it's sing it myself, and it's like it really actually goes with the book really well. So I'm trying to time them sort of in a way that makes sense. But the book or the album has quite a few spoken word pieces from the book on it,
Awesome.
paired with my bachelor's is in classical composition and like orchestral writing. So I started composing like these string quartets that reiterate some melodic sensibilities from the songs on it, and then are paired with spoken word pieces. So it's a little heavy and dark, just like the book. But I think like the overall feeling is redemption, just how I think the book is. So I think that so that's in the works. I don't know when it's going to come out. I hopefully I don't really know. I'm kind of just like keeping my eyes open and my feelers out for what feels good. I'm working on a musical and I'm doing some fashion stuff too. So I just like to have all my creative engines running.
Well, you got to, and that sounds awesome. We got some fashion. You said a musical.
Yeah.
This new body of work, musically speaking. So much to look forward to. And I hope to continue to be able to talk to you throughout this journey of
Me
yours,
too.
and I look forward to everything that you do have coming out. Everybody out there, viewers, listeners, watchers. Shame is an Ocean I Swim Across by Mary Lambert. Mary, thank you so. You got to go pick it up. That's what I'm saying. Mary, thank you so much for
Thanks,
talking to us.
John. I appreciate it.
You have a great rest of your day.
Okay, you too.
All right, bye, Mary.
Bye.